Get your daily dose of encouragement. Welcome to the Daily Dose with Coach V.
Happy Thursday evening and welcome back to the Daily Dose. I'm your host, Coach V. And this week we are continuing our conversation about boundaries and how to release the things that are not ours. I want to invite you again to get your copy of Boundaries Freedom's Line. It's available now on our website at mindingwhatmattersnow.com, also on Amazon. And this is a mental health support journal that helps us to not only establish boundaries, keep our hearts in check while we do so, but also help us stay accountable to the boundaries we've set as well, and help us to set safe and healthy boundaries within all of our relationships. Well, tonight we're going to discuss tools on maintaining healthy boundaries. So as I discussed yesterday on Wednesday, we discussed the W and Y. Y stands for the what, how, and you. And so tonight we're going to talk about the how. The how is, how will I reinforce the boundary? Have all consequences been communicated? Have I checked my heart? Is there an expiration date or reconsideration clause for this boundary? Now I'm going to pause right here and talk about the communication of boundaries. Sometimes we may make up in our minds and say, hey, I'm no longer going to accept this anymore, or I no longer want to be a part of this or that. But we don't actually communicate that to others. Communication is necessary the majority of the time. And the reason why I say the majority of the time, because there will be times that the best thing that you can do for yourself and for the other person is to just walk away, to just leave and to walk away. Especially when the boundary that you need to set is in an abusive relationship, whether that is physically abusive, mentally, or emotionally. I know that all of those things are very difficult and they can be scary. I know that because I am a person who is not only surviving but thriving after an abusive marriage. It was abusive physically, mentally, emotionally, and very few people actually knew that because as many people who are in abusive relationships, we often just continue to keep that hidden. Sometimes for many of us being in African American homes, we're told what happens in this house stays in this house. But then people are dying inside because no one is talking about the things that are happening in the house, right? So we want to be able to just know that even though it's hard to walk away, when it is necessary for your life, whether that's physically, mentally, or emotionally, that walking away is the best communication you can give. Sometimes just walking out, not saying anything, not arguing, not debating, that is the best communication of this is a boundary that you have crossed and I'm no longer going to allow you to cross it. So we want to make sure that we're communicating, except in situations where it can be difficult for us, or I wouldn't say difficult for us, dangerous for us, whether it's physically, mentally, or emotionally. Now, also, you want to keep in mind the person that you are setting this boundary up with. If you are dealing with someone who's narcissistic, you may not want to engage in the back and forth battle that's going to take place, or the mind games or the manipulation. That is also another situation where your communication of your boundary can be a silent one, meaning I'm no longer present. I'm no longer taking phone calls. I'm no longer allowing you to speak to me the way that you speak to me. So I'm not going to answer or respond to your text message. And for those of you who don't know, you can also block Gmail. Do whatever you need to do to make sure that you are not living or being susceptible to someone else's toxicity and their abuse. Again, whether that's physically, emotionally, mentally, verbally, whatever that is. And even on a spiritual note, whether someone is using the Bible against you to say, hey, God said this or God said that, or here in the scripture it says this, but they're really just twisting that scripture in order to get you to do what they want you to do. In those situations, that's not a situation where you're going to argue or debate, but in situations where you can actually communicate to someone and say, hey, listen, when you do this doesn't sit well with me. It bothers me. It makes me feel uncomfortable. Then you give that person an opportunity to say, hey, okay, I didn't know that, or I did know that, and I'm going to stop doing that. Tell me what I need to do to fix this. Because every person who offends us, hurts us, whatever, it's not always intentional. And even when it is, that doesn't mean that it can't be fixed. So you want to weigh the situation. And I say that so with all of the sincerity in my heart, because one of the things I dislike the most is general advice, giving just general advice and instructions, because everything is situational. So if you're in a place where you're like, I'm not really sure, I think this is the boundary I want to set up, I'm not sure if this is what I should be doing, and you need some help or some guidance, then schedule a session. You can schedule a free consultation. Go to mindingwhatmattersnow.com and you can do that, and we'll be glad to just speak with you about that and give you some more additional tips on how to set effective boundaries. Now, we also want to talk to you about some different things that you can do in order to make sure that you are growing while you're setting these boundaries, and you're able to be courageous in upholding these boundaries. One, you want to always make sure you're self-reflecting. Where's my heart? As we talked about, heart checks are very important. So you're going to want to say, where's my heart in reference to this? And then also too, what am I doing? Am I doing things that will increase my self-care, my self-love, and all of those things? So you want to also, again, set clear boundaries, communicate them effectively, but prioritize self-care. Prioritizing self-care is not selfishness. Sometimes that's difficult for us as parents, as moms, as single moms, to be able to say, hey, you know what? I need 5 minutes for myself. I need some time for me to be able to breathe, to not need to have someone need me at this moment. I know you're going to always need me, but I need you to not need anything from me right now in this moment. All of those are okay, because if we don't, we begin to lose ourselves. I remember having a conversation with my children who absolutely, I have to tell you guys, it is nothing that I did. It was absolutely all God. He gave me 2 absolute amazing souls, right, to be a portal to into this earth. But there was a time I had to have a conversation with my children, and I say that because they have never complained about anything I did or didn't do or couldn't do for them. They were always respectful for every sacrifice that I've made, but I had to say to them, listen, I need you guys to realize that I am Vivian outside of mom, that I'm Vivian, I am a business owner, I am all these things, but even at the end of being a business owner, an author, a podcaster, all of these things, and absolutely my first is being your mom, I am still Vivian outside of, if all of these things were not here today, I am Vivian. So I need you guys to see me as Vivian in the moments that I need to be seen as Vivian, and not just the title that I carry as mom. So we have to be able to communicate those things and know that self-care is absolutely a necessity. It's a necessity in order for us to truly be whole and to live the life of abundance and destiny that God has created us to live. All right, well, you guys have been with me again here at the Daily Dose. I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow on Friday. God bless you and have an amazing evening.
Thank you for joining us at the Daily Dose. Be sure to subscribe, like, and share with others.